Hello and welcome aboard the Knitty Stew podcast. My name is Leanne. I am the Knitty Stew. Stew is short for stewardess. I am a Canadian flight attendant and a knitter, and this is my YouTube channel that you've stumbled across that is all about knitting and taking you to overnight cities across this beautiful country of Canada. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Today I am in a location where I've never brought you before. I am in Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada. I will insert a photo of a map of the travel that I did from my hometown of Calgary over here to Hub City. Today is episode 32, and it is my pleasure to be here on this sort of overcast day. It is 15 degrees, not really raining. In Fahrenheit, that is 59 degrees. And I just had to wait it out because there was some sort of either a protest or in spite of all the beautiful churches here in Moncton, I think somebody might have been out on the street preaching some good news or whatnot. So it seems to have quieted down. Hopefully there's no background noise. And yeah, so I would love to start the episode because I've got a lot to go over. Yeah, I've been a busy little knitter, and I can't wait to tell you all the things that I've been working on. I've got 6 finished objects. Yes, some of them are smaller, mind you, but that's what I've got going on. I do have some active whips. I've got a sponsor on today's podcast, and I've also cannot wait to announce the winners of the 2-year Potiversary giveaway. Yes, I said winners with the comments that you guys left regarding mussels, eating mussels, or having them on the beach from the last episode. There was just no way I could do just one giveaway. So I have 3 giveaways, which will be coming up. And then footage, of course, of Moncton, and then a little bit of a life chat at the end if you wanted to stick around for that. I do have some acquisitions, as it was BAM. That stands for Birthday, Anniversary, Mother's Day. So Craftsy, the sponsor of this video, is an incredible online resource. They have over 2,000 classes in all the things you may be interested in, whether that is furthering knitting techniques, crochet, quilting, woodworking, jewelry making, embroidery, baking, yoga, and spinning, which is what I dove into it for. But they also have, I saw a class for calligraphy, which is something else that I was interested in this year. The step-by-step and professional instructors that they had let me take my spinning from the process and learning about the wheel and some practice techniques all the way to what I'm most proud of is the finishing, where I plied. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the video will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. All right, so the link will be down below. Thank you. I hope you'll check them out. Also, hi, new haircut. Who dis? If you're wondering who's on Leanne's channel, I'm still getting used to it. I chopped, well, I didn't, Pear, my hairstylist. She did a solid 7-8 inches lobbed off, and I love it. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that I posted a photo when it was fresh, and yeah, I think it was a good change. Change is good. So yeah, quick little note that if you are wanting to follow me on social media, I am obviously here on YouTube as the Knitty Stew. I have an email address linked below. I have on the Knitty Stew on Ravelry and on Instagram. I do have a Ko-Fi account or Coffee account if you wanted to support the channel in that way as well. But just being here, your presence alone is great. So all good there. So let's get started on the knitting content, shall we? I have the first of the finished objects I wanted to discuss. I'm wearing here. This is my cocktail cardigan, and it is designed by Marie Christine Levesque, who is, I believe, a Northern New Brunswick designer. So she's a Canadian designer, and I love it. I'm going to stand up and show you. The color is very bright. And I hope Vince, Nikki, Tom, and Mick will not distract you from me discussing this finished object. Yes, so I have decided in 2024 that I needed more cardigans in my life, and this one fit the bill 100%. What drew me to it was the color. I will insert a picture of the page on Ravelry, and it uses Sandnes Garn Double Sunday, which is a DK yarn by Sandnes Garn, Petite Knit. I used color 4008. It's poppy. The one in the pattern is, I think, orange, but I think this is so bright and happy and wonderful. And it called for 11 balls in the size that I was making. Now I will mention, I flew a red eye out here, so I'm going to be referring to my notes because I barely remember what day it is. By the way, it is Sunday, May 26th. I'm not sure when I'll actually get this edited and uploaded, but it will be in the next several days. I was fortunate enough to have 3 Moncton overnights this month. One was gifted to me by a lovely flight attendant. I put it on the trade board. We call them pairings on a computer system, and I had uploaded on there in the comment section that if somebody wanted to make my birthday dreams come true, that they would drop me a Moncton overnight. And one lovely coworker, she did, and I had a 48-hour layover, which is why I actually have some decent footage, I feel, and yeah, I'll show you that later in the podcast, as mentioned. I think I mentioned that. Anyways, this one is a short one, and I also have one more, I think, on the 29th, 30th. So anyways, plenty of Moncton overnights for May, which is great. And back to the knitting. Okay, so I was knitting off gauge. So I knit this pattern with a gauge of 19 stitches. The pattern calls for 20 and 28 rows. I was using a US 7, a 4.5 millimeter for the main body, and for the ribbing, which is, I love this so much. It's knit at the same time, so the button band is all done. And when you're done, you add buttons, and then you're finished. I added these little, cat buttons because cats, once again. The kitty stew strikes again. What can I say about this? I've got to say that I really enjoyed, I did mention this in my last episode too, sorry if I'm being redundant, that the neck and the sleeve construction, the contiguous way that this shoulder is shaped, I think is very striking and makes it hug the neck quite nicely. You start at the back, and if I make this again, I would use a provisional cast on, like Who Am I? But you begin at the back, right here, and you work and you increase. And I'm not sure if my picking up of stitches on the one side was a little bit not as tight as on this side, but those are details. Yeah, I knit size 1 because of being off gauge, and I kind of went a little bit rogue on my sleeves. When I started working them, I thought, well, I don't really need to start decreasing. There's a tapered option, which is what I chose, and then I believe there's one that just goes down a little bit wider and then cinches up quickly at the cuff. So I went for the tapered, and I didn't start decreasing when it said in the pattern. I went a little bit longer, and then I was like, well, better catch up, and I started decreasing quite quickly. And I did show this with the, I used a lifeline, just in case I didn't have enough depth in the arm. And it's kind of interesting, I don't know if it's showing on the camera now, but is it? When I took, there, you can kind of see it. When I took the lifeline out, you could see, like, there was a marked place where my lifeline had been gathered in the row. So Anyway, I didn't end up needing the lifeline. The armhole depth was good. I blocked this thing and it was taking a long time to dry. So I was like, you know, I'll just throw it in the dryer for a minute. And that minute I forgot. And this is 100% wool. Like this is, although it is very soft, this wool, it is not superwash. And so this sleeve almost got felted. Like it could have gone really bad, but it didn't. And it turned out, and I'm happy with it. Instead of needing 11 balls like the pattern had suggested, I believe for my size, I only use 7.7 balls. So I have 3 full balls and this much left over. I bought the yarn at Yarn Twisters in Calgary, and so unused balls of yarn. Should I just keep it? Because that is a great color. I love it. Or I could return them and use it for store credit or something. Anyways, that is the cocktail cardigan. I would highly recommend, and after having made this and how clear the pattern was, I would like to check out more of Marie Christine's patterns, because happy, very happy. So anyways, that's finished object number 1. Let's get going on to number 2. All my details and everything would be on my Ravelry page, which I will link all that stuff below. And as well, I will link chapters. So if you aren't interested in my works in progress, or if you're not interested in the giveaway and all of those things, you can just skip through, because I'll link all that below and have it separated for you. All right, finished object number 2. This will be a quick one because I don't physically have it with me. I have gifted it. I made an arm warmer for my mother-in-law. I will insert a picture of it here. It's actually being modeled by my husband. No, my mother-in-law had a stroke, unfortunately, a couple Augusts back, and her left side is, you know, there's permanent damage there, and her left arm would get really cold. And when I went to visit in the beginning of May, she had a towel draped over her arm, and I was like, oh, what's going on with your arm? And she said, oh, it just gets cold, dear. And I was like, not on my watch. No. This wonderful woman who I adore, her name is Florence. I whipped home, well, not that second, but very quickly, got home, and I grabbed some. I had minks, nope. Where's my notes here? Mink, 100% mink lace weight that I had left over in my stash, and so I have it wrapped double. So I just used a US 7 4.5mm needle and knit her basically a sleeve starting at the cuff with the German twisted cast on. I think 40 stitches, did a little bit of ribbing, and just knit straight up the arm, increased a little bit, and did a nice loose cast off around the bicep. I have all my notes again on my Ravelry page. The total length was 16 inches, and she likes it. And yeah, so that is finished object number 2. Okay, coffee in hand, and I hope that the vacuuming next door is finished. I need this coffee. Come on, coffee. It's a lot of pressure on you, I know. I've actually taken to adding a little bit of hazelnut cream in my coffee lately. I don't know why I've started that. Maybe that's a bad habit, but it makes my coffee sing, in particular when it's coffee from the hotel room, because that's not always the best. But add a little sugar into something and it makes the medicine go down. All right, finished object number 3 is the beautiful party line scarf, a design by Casey Apple of Young Folk Knits. It is her debut pattern that I loved knitting. It only took me a day and a half, like May 2nd to May 4th. I'll put it on for you. Absolutely love this accessory. I did it with a similar yarn content to what the one Casey used in the design. Hers was, I believe, a wool silk blend, a sport weight yarn. And I had in my stash, yay, using stash, this Mirasol Nuna yarn in the colorway brown. I'm not sure if it looks brown or green in this light, but it is lovely, soft. I think it's got great depth. I only used 171 yards. I knit it with a US 6 4mm. I used a wooden DPN because there's not that many stitches across it. With the amount of yarn I had, I decided to add an extra repeat so that I could easily just wrap it twice and then tie. I mean, there's various ways you could style it. I like it like this. I think this would be cute tucked inside a jacket. I saw Becky of Hand Knit Letter. She wore hers in her hair. You could tie it to your purse. I just loved it a lot. It has that Sophie scarf vibe, but I much preferred knitting this to the Sophie scarf. And the only thing that I had to give my head a shake was that the eyelets are offset, and I kept forgetting a yarn over at the end of one of the eyelet rows. So my stitch count kept going off, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's me. And it was. So I figured that out, so just be mindful of that. Did I say, I might have said this, I already added an extra repeat or two in the middle section so I could wrap it twice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said that already. Okay, that's it. Finished object number 3. I highly recommend the lovely Party Line Scarf by Casey Apple. Great job on your first debut pattern. Very clear, wonderful, and a happy knit. I would expect nothing less from Casey. Next up is my wee mushroom trio. A little cuteness for y'all. Look, I'm starting to talk like Casey. Okay, so this was just a must knit. I tend to gravitate towards cute things in the summertime. Yeah, I've got like some toy patterns on my radar, that kind of stuff. It just tickles my fancy in the warmer months. And I saw this in the newsletter from Imagined Landscapes, and the designer's name is Sarah Shira, and it was just a wonderful, realistic looking set of mushrooms. And she linked in the pattern to the construction video on YouTube. And when I saw how she stabilizes the bases and how it's a pipe cleaner, so you can make sure that the center of gravity is right. I will insert a picture somewhere as well on the screen. I posted this trio on Mother's Day because I kind of thought it looked like the mama mushroom and her little babies clinging to her. You do attach them to the body of the largest mushroom. Very quick. I stuffed mine with rice as the weighted stuffing, and then I also used, I've taken to saving lint from the dryer. I don't know if that's gross or not, but I get quite a collection, and it really is the fibers off of the laundry, and it smells nice. So that's what I stuffed it with. What else could I say about it? I would recommend the pattern if you are not opposed to using teeny tiny DPNs. This one, it uses a US 1 pretty much for the whole thing. So that is a 2.25mm needle. And then this part here, which has a unique joining method, which she links a video to, so fabulous pattern that way. And I just used little mini sock leftovers that I had. The dots on the mushroom are optional. I had some of this stuff from an advent calendar, so I thought it was a great use of that. So that's finished object number, I think we're on 4, and that was called the Wee Mushroom Trio by Sarah Shira. And now that I've made this, I would definitely want to make some of her gnome patterns, which she has lots and lots of. So that's it for that one. Okay, I had to free up the neck for my next finished object, which was 100% inspired by the stunning woman who came on board and was sitting in 3 Delta on the flight from St. John's, Newfoundland back to Calgary at the end of April. 3D, I will refer to her as 3 Delta, came on wearing this scarf and a really nice base layer jacket and just the perfect travel outfit. And it was a knitted scarf. And so when it wasn't over the top, I was like, I really need to talk to you about your scarf. And so after I had served her breakfast and we had a minute, I was like, I'm a knitter and I really like your scarf. It turns out she is also a knitter, but a sporadic knitter. Not a crazy obsessed person, apparently, like myself, and could not quite recall the name of the pattern that she had knit it from. She thought it might be an Andrew Mowry scarf, but I, of course, later that day, until like 11:30 at night, was looking all over Ravelry. I must find the scarf by 3 Delta that 3 Delta was wearing. Anyways, what I ended up coming up with was this free pattern, which is called the Magic Spring Shawl. And it is absolutely in imitation of what 3 Delta was wearing. So she had it in these bright, I mean, this really, if you know me, like an earthy color. I do go through pops of color phases, but generally greens and stuff, but I just loved the way her scarf looked. So I'll put it on for you. And this free pattern comes in large and medium and all different sizes. This is apparently the mini version, and it is by Katerina Bobkova. I'll link it below. Again, it's called the Magic Spring Shawl. And what I like to do, because the way she was wearing it was just right up around her neck, so I can get this around 3 times and then use these little long ends. You can tell I've been wearing it, and I could not stop knitting on it as well. And just, I like to tuck those underneath and just wear it like this, and it's showing off these eyelet rows, garter stitch, happiness. Like, oh my goodness, is that not, that is Magic Spring right there, 100%. Love it a lot. And it is very similar to the one that she was wearing, although hers did have, instead of eyelets, like it did have eyelets, but it also had some ribbing. So, but the shape is very similar. And I used a US 6 4mm needle to knit it. And I gotta say that the yarn is a big part of the story. I picked this up from Ancient Arts Dye Studio, which I'm very fortunate is in Calgary. And the color that I chose is called Maria Sabina's Healing Recipe. And it is their Little Nettle Soft Fingering colorway base. Little Nettle Soft base, which is 68% superwash fine merino and 32% nettle. It is absolutely wonderful, drapey, super soft, right up close to the neck. And the total yardage on this was 385. Now in this free Magic Spring Shawl pattern, it is designed to use 3 different colorways if you want. So what a great way to use up some fingering stash. But I wanted to see how long I could get it by just using 1 skein of this. Now I did buy 2 skeins of this base, and I was going to keep going, but I really, that is kind of the look I was going for, more like a, almost like a cowl. Like that's how I usually wear my shawls, especially lightweight ones. The total length of this ended up being 71 inches in length, so the wingspan, and 10 inches deep. It is indeed magic as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely love it. And you knit from 1 tip. It's fairly intuitive and easy because you just pay attention to the right and the wrong side, which, although in my opinion, when it comes to eyelets, I think they look pretty on both sides. But this is indeed the right side. So you start at the tip and you increase only on the wrong side rows. Otherwise you are just slipping the edge stitches to make it look nice and neat. And it gives it that curve as you increase down to there. And I just knit till I ran out of yarn, honestly. And I used all 385 yards, 100 gram skein of this beautiful colorway. So yeah, that caught my eye, and I was just on a mission to knit this and make this, and have the perfect travel outfit. So anyways, that is my final knitted finished object. My last finished object is not knitting. I made yarn. I made yarn! Now it looks like a skein because I used the ball band from the fiber that I purchased, and it is 100% Shediac fiber from Akara Rose on Instagram. I will have her linked below. I dove back into the spinning rabbit hole. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen my work in progress of this spinning action. I went away to Fernie with my sister and my friend Tracy, and they were both spinning. And I've kind of put my eSpinner Nano into a timeout for quite a long time. And I think it's coming up on the summer, so it'll almost be a full year that I just stopped using my Nano. I wasn't happy with the uptake. And some days it would work and other days I was just not having any success. And my sister and Tracy are both sitting in this beautiful condo spinning on their Lendrums. And again, my little spidey sense went up and I sat down and my fingers kind of did remember the process. I'll tell you, this is what it created. The colorway just had me. The colorway is called Terra, and it's all of these earthy colors. I'm definitely a little bit more, this would be like, oh, that's Leanne vibe, versus this, but you never know. I'm all over the map, quite literally. So this is what I created. The Lendrum and we were getting along. It's a rental, and Tracy and my sister, very encouraging. They're like, come on girl, you can do this. And I am very, very happy and proud of this, we'll call it art yarn, but I started and finished. And this is also where my sponsorship thing comes in, is because as a result of classes on Craftsy, I was able to not just spin up a bobbin and leave it, which is what I've done in the past, but I got to go through some learning about drafting and all of the things. Alrighty, it's giveaway time. I was so excited to see so many people entering the 2-year podcast giveaway and reading all the comments to win the giveaway. The question I asked was, have you ever eaten mussels? Have you ever eaten mussels on the beach? And the responses I got were varied. There's like a strong mussels are gross and nasty camp, and there's like a camp where people they love them so much, and beautiful stories around them. Some were, I remember collecting mussels on the beach with my grandfather and then frying them up in butter on the campfire. And then there was, mussels are horrible, I have anaphylactic reaction to them, and very little in between. Anyways, thank you so much for participating, everyone, and thank you for helping me celebrate 2 years doing this podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you who shows up and engages. So I couldn't just do one giveaway. The giveaway was based on the donation from Pam of Windswept Fibers out in Newfoundland. She had donated this set called Mussels on the Beach. It's a sock set in her Best Kind base, which is 75% BFL, 25% nylon, 388 meters, 425 yards. And the sock set, if you wanted to do heels and cuffs and alternating. I also received another gift from her, and this is Absolute Luxe, and I'm giving this away. It's called Mozzie Day, which is a term out in Newfoundland for a day that's a little gloomy and rainy and wet. A lot of days like that out there. This is Comfort Co 3-ply fingering in 70% natural gray baby alpaca base, 20% silk, and 10% nylon, 100 grams, 437 yards. Gorgeous, absolutely stunning. So that's giveaway number 2. And then in keeping with the beach theme, I have a skein of camp fiber yarns in the colorway Sands of Nova Scotia. It's 100% non-superwash fingering, 400 meters, 100 grams. And this is dyed up in Alberta, a little dyer in, I don't know if she's a little dyer, I've never met her. Her name is Laura Kemp and she's from Sherwood Park, Alberta. And this colorway is reminiscent of the sands of Nova Scotia. So I have chosen 3 winners at random. I'll put them on the screen. First of all, we have Paula McDonald 322 who said, love your support chicken, great colors. I must admit I've not tried mussels. Love your beautiful knits. Love Paula from Australia. And then we have MZ Purple 786. Congratulations on 2 years. I've been with you from the beginning. Thank you. And finally, Sharon Van Pelt 6005. I won't read the comment because it's kind of long and this episode could be very long as well. Thank you so much everyone for entering, and I wish I could give away 1,700 skeins of yarn. If you guys saw your name on the screen, if you could please email me at thenittystew@gmail.com so that I can get your address and ship those off to you. So thank you so much everyone for entering, and if you're like me, it sucks because you never win these, but at the end of the day, I just want to extend gratitude somehow in some way. And thanks also for Pam from Windswept Fibers for those donations, and this was from Christine out at Woolen Waves in Cumberland. All right, so I'm going to do some footage of the beautiful area out here that I collected when I was here on my last overnight, and I hope you enjoy. We'll meet back here and discuss 2.5 active whips, and I'll see you then. So I'll start off with footage from day 1 of my 2-day overnight. I had a very solid sleep and got up and decided to head out to find the yarn shop, which was within walking distance of the hotel. Here I am on the corner of Church Street, aptly named, and then I came across this little gem. It's called Cafe Archibald, and inside I ordered a delicious coffee, and I was watching this person make some fresh crepes. I was mostly intent on getting a decent coffee and some caffeine, but I would certainly stop back here and have some of these delicious looking crepes. Although my coffee, when it was ready, looked a lot like dessert. It's a very French-Canadian place, this Moncton, and would you look at that? I didn't know there would be whipped cream and sprinkles on top of my coffee, but it certainly made me happy, and onward I went to find the yarn shop. Who doesn't love seeing those 4 letters? I sure do. Here I come across 3 bags full Yarn Emporium. I was greeted to a very warm welcome by the lovely owner, Kathy McDonald. She gave me a private tour of the store, and it was absolutely lovely. Please enjoy the footage. Kathy has a lovely selection of locally hand-dyed yarns, as well as other well-known brands like Sirdar, Opal, Estelle, Diamond Yarns, Cascade Yarns, Rowan, Lichen and Lace, and honestly, the most Briggs & Little I have ever seen in my life. I'm pretty sure she has the largest selection outside of Briggs & Little itself. Anyways, please enjoy some more footage of this beautiful yarn shop in Moncton.
So the store was going to close about 2 years ago, this time last year in May, or 2 years ago in May. The previous owner just wanted to close the shop. She has 3 other shops in the province, and so I had just retired a few months previous, and I always wanted to do something with rug hooking, and I love knitting, I love crocheting, and I've taken tons of classes here in knitting and so on, and I love the people that work here. So my hubby and I decided that if she would sell it to us, we would take it over, and so she did, the previous owner. And so we literally had like 2.5 weeks to start our business in June 1st of 2022.
So an early 2-year anniversary on the new ownership of your shop to Kathy and Brian, the lovely owners who dropped everything. They were working on a point of sale system and hung out with me and gave me a really nice warm welcome. I was too far away from any of the other yarn stores, and there are plenty in New Brunswick, There's Briggs & Little, which was a 2.5-hour drive, but I think I had their entire stock here. There's Legacy Lane, which is a 45-minute car ride. Sisterhood Fibers, Brigadoon Fiber Farm, Good Vibrations, and most of those were between 45 minutes and 2 to 2.5 hours away. So so this is what I was able to show you of yarn shops in the area. Anyways, they're also going to be hosting a cruise. So if you want more information on that, just pop on their social media sites and have a look. This Lunenburg pullover, it had me. I kept circling back to it, and I might have bought myself a little birthday present. Situated in the Petite Kodiak River Valley, Moncton lies at the geographic center of the Maritime Provinces. The city has earned the nickname Hub City because of its central inland location in the region and its history as a railway and land transportation hub for the Maritimes. Moncton is in fact the largest city in New Brunswick, and it is one of the fastest growing cities in Canada. According to a 2024 census, the population of Moncton is 84,397. According to the website I found, the average home price is $385,000 in Moncton. Moncton is home to the world-famous tidal bore, a natural phenomenon where the tide from the Bay of Fundy creates a wave that travels up the Petite Kodiak River. It is also nicknamed the Chocolate River, which is obvious. Look at this brown, distinctive mud floor. I love this color, and it was just a really great feeling to be near there. Obviously, the water probably goes a lot faster later on in the summer, but yeah, this was a really neat afternoon just walking along. I felt like I was all by myself. Moncton is known for its bilingualism, with a significant percentage of the population speaking both English and French. I do believe that it is the largest bilingual population in Canada. The city is also known for its Acadian heritage, with many cultural events and festivals celebrating the Acadian culture throughout the year. If you want some interesting history, kind of dark history as well, look up the Acadians and what that was all about. Moncton is home to Magnetic Hill, a unique optical illusion where cars, they appear to roll uphill when they're in neutral. Again, I need to get myself a rental vehicle and go check out some of that exterior stuff just around Moncton. The city has a diverse economy with industries including aerospace, information technology, and advanced manufacturing. The city is located in the heart of the Maritimes, making it a great base for exploring the natural beauty and cultural attractions of New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island, of which it's all attached. So that was enough walking around for me. I went back and got ready for day 2, where the shenanigans began. Nancy from Knit Sit Happy popped over and picked me up outside of the hotel, and we immediately whipped out to Shediac to pick up Sophie, who met us in the Canadian Tire parking lot, and she wore her swag, which I had on. I didn't even send out a memo. First order of business was to pop over to Shediac to see the famous lobster statue there. I expected a statue standing like a little red lobster, but no, this was an anatomically correct statue. It was great. Then we hopped on and got onto the beautiful scenic route to Bouctouche. Bouctouche is a stunning town located at the mouth of the Bouctouche River on the coast of the Northumberland Strait. It was about 40 kilometers northeast of Moncton. Nancy comes out here. It is her happy place, and she generously shared it with me. Sophie grew up in the area and also can appreciate the beauty. You can almost smell the ocean just from this footage. It was so powerful to listen to the ocean. Across the way on a clear day, you can see Prince Edward Island. We wandered down the beach looking for some treasures. There's sometimes sea glass. I did find a rock and a seashell, which I brought home with me. And then these two wonderful human beings took me for a birthday lunch and spoiled me. I love you guys. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the footage of Moncton, and this last half of the episode I will be focusing on my works in progress, the active ones, and perhaps a quick acquisition display and some life chat at the end. So my first work in progress, I'm making another magic spring shawl. Only this time I've chosen a different colorway. This was the other one I bought that I had considered putting together. They're very similar. In fact, in this light, they look identical, but I assure you they are not. I saw them in the skein form. This colorway is called, it's Pulque Time. And again, it's Little Nettle Soft Fingering from Ancient Arts. So it's just the sweet little beginnings of another shawlette scarf. I had so much fun, and I just wasn't really feeling like making socks right now. For some reason, lightweight spring shawls have got my love right now. Yeah, speaking of spring, look at this cute stitch marker. It's a tulip. This is from Ocean Loops. Lally. She is a lovely maker in Calgary, and I got this from her recent collection. I will link her below because her stitch markers are just stunning, and I love them, and I feel like they're good luck. When I use them on a project, the project turns out. Not like I'm superstitious or anything. So that's work in progress number 1. Well, I'm just gonna call this the half work in progress because I need to talk about this a little bit. I feel like that I want to like summer knitting and summer tees because they're very practical and useful. But I just did my very best to get started on, this was a gauge swatch actually, using Saona, which is by Wool Dreamers. It's 50 cotton, 50 wool. And I'll put it on my neck because I can, it's off the needles. And the reason is I'm gonna frog it because although I love it and the practicality of a cotton wool knitted item is fabulous, I do not like knitting with wool cotton. Anything that has cotton content, it won't go. And I kept going up needle size after needle size after needle size. What I was gauge swatching for, and I was willing to knit a hat to see if I could get gauge, was the Summerwood Tea. Woodlands Knits. There we go. Yes, such a beautiful, I'll put a picture here. I just think it's stunning. And it is actually made with Wool Dreamers Saona. My hands, I don't think, are built to work with cotton. I have made things with cotton before, and other fibers. I can't do it. So I'm gonna frog this. If you have any suggestions, like I went up to even a 3.75 millimeter, a 5 US 5, to, you know, try and somehow get it going. And it's 50-50. Maybe if I went with a slightly less cotton content, that would be better. But yeah, I want to be a summer garment knitter, but yet I don't want to use the summer wools or yarns, not wools, the summer fibers. So that's my predicament right there. So that actually was work in progress, but yesterday, as I was preparing for the packing for this podcast, I decided I think this is getting frogged. So, and my most exciting work in progress, I feel, is the Sunset Highway. I'm doing it. I've had this in my favorites and in my queue forever, and I'm finally making it. I cast on for it in 3, actually it calls for 4 colorways. So this pattern is by Boyland Knitworks, Caitlin Hunter. I'll put a picture on the screen. Let me just gather my stuff here. I am going to use yarn I have used before. This is how far I've got so far. And it's a top-down pullover that is knit in fingering weight yarn on a rather large needle as far as fingering weight goes. I'll put it on because it's what I do. Now, I'm very much going on the sizing that I used for my Zweig by Caitlin Hunter. And so far, so good. Basically, I don't want to talk too much about this because it is just getting started. I got a little bit of work done on the flight out here, believe it or not. And I'm just being very mindful of my floats because I am using a US 4 3.5 for the body. I am going to knit the size 2 in the pattern because of the stitch counts. I was comparing it to my Zweig, which I love. I also love my Zweig because I knit it with, this is Amelia and Philomene Adelina base, which is a fingering weight 70 merino, 20 yak, 10 nylon. Now, this color is, well, I'm going to say it because I'm in New Brunswick and they don't mind if you speak French poorly. This is the colorway Peut-être. No, I'm not even going to say it. That's so bad. I can't even say that. No, I won't do it. So anyway, I'm knitting that for the main color of the neck part. And then the blue, the light blue, is Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock Light in the colorway Spring Ice. And then, I didn't actually realize this when I was looking, but it also has another light color at the bottom of the color work. And I'm gonna switch over to this Speckled Sage leftovers that I have by Ginger Snap. And then for the main body, I'm using some precious discontinued dyer Olan, which I got from, I believe it was the Knitting Loft in Toronto when they announced that she was no longer dyeing. I have 3 skeins of this Ponderosa colorway for the main body portion. Look at that. Wow. Yes, so this dyer I believe was in Ireland, and it is a single 100% superwash, 366 meters per 100 grams. So that is my sweet beginnings of my Sunset Highway. If you have made this, please feel free to drop me comments and talk me off the ledge that my colorway or my color work's gonna be okay. I don't actually see the blue coming through to the front, even though I am using such a large needle on fingering weight yarn. So I may actually have to pull out the Norwegian thimble if I start getting too long of floats. That's what I use when I do really long floats. But so far, they've only been about, I think 5 is the longest float so far. So there we go. The beginning of making the Sunset Highway by Caitlin Hunter. And that's probably gonna get a lot of my love lately. And that is it for my works in progress. It is an absolute disaster in here. I've got stuff everywhere. And I still haven't discussed my acquisitions, which I could go over rather quickly and maybe do a live chat. So if you aren't here for that and you need to run along, I have no idea how long this video is going to be because I have to piece it all together. So if you're going to run along, I thank you for being here and for showing up and spending your time with me. And I hope you're healthy and happy, and we'll see you next time. If you'd like to stick around for the shenanigans at the end here, I can't do it for too long, I don't think, because I have a 4:20 in the morning wake-up call. I think I'm going to grab my magic spring shell, and we'll meet you back here for the live chat. Okay, welcome if you're staying for the acquisitions and live chat portion of the episode. I want to thank you for staying for that. It has been a great BAM. Birthday anniversary, Mother's Day month. It's always good, but this year I felt extremely blessed and very spoiled. I turned 51 on May the 9th. It was our 27th anniversary also, and Mother's Day all in 1 month. At the last episode, at the filming of last episode, that night, or was it the day after? It doesn't matter. My husband and my sister and my brother-in-law and we went to go see the Led Zeppelin Jason Bonham experience, and what a way to kick off this month. Like, wow, I cannot believe how incredible it was to go to that. If I closed my eyes, it was like as close as it would ever get for me to see Led Zeppelin in all their glory. So we really enjoyed that. That was the first part of birthday month. Sadly, we did not win the Sprinter van. says maybe next time, darn it. I want to show my acquisitions. Let me do that before I start knitting. In the video footage, I'll assume that you saw the kit that I actually purchased from 3 Bags Full. I got myself the Lunenburg pullover kit. I have been meaning to make that sweater for a very long time. So when I saw this on display at 3 Bags Full, she had knit this in the Eco Tweed DK. I bought the kit. So it'll be made with this, and then the contrasting colors, which are just beautiful, is in Rowan felted tweed. Look at that. Oh my goodness. So I think that's going to be a stunning Lunenburg. So I bought that for myself. I buy myself the best things. I think I say that a lot. I bought myself a 30-day meditation course called Calm and Connected from a soul called Joel, who I really enjoy online. I have it forever, so I purchased it once and now I can use it at my own pace. Okay, when I was here visiting Sophie and Nancy, they gifted me some beautiful, beautiful things. First and foremost, here is Nancy's 3-ply superwash merino 80/20 361 yards of hand spun that Nancy made. She spun this. It looks a lot better than my art yarn. She did this on her nano. She is a pro. How beautiful is that? I thanked her, but if you're watching this, Nancy, thank you. I'll hopefully see you again next week. And then the lovely Sophie from Cozy Meadow Knits gave me this precious skein of New Brunswick fine alpaca from Brigadoon Fiber Farm that she got at the Fiddlehead Fiber Festival. That's a lot of F's. It is 100% alpaca. The alpaca's name was Shasta. It is DK, very generous, beautiful 100 gram skein. And her beautiful stitch markers that she makes. Sophie, you are very talented. Cozy Meadow Knits, if you're not watching her podcast, she is just salt of the earth, lovely, lovely human being. I loved her right away. I love Nancy right away too. I love this community. So beautiful gifts from them. I also bought myself one other thing. Let's go back to that. I just uncovered it. I got myself a hard copy of this year's Shetland Wool Week hat, which was just announced. It's called the Islesburg Tory, and I just think it's so beautiful. So I ordered that for myself. Then my sister, as she does, she got me the sock project book. As she does, what I mean by that is that every year she usually buys me a knitting book, and this year was no different. Also, Tracy, in addition to letting us stay at her condo, she gave me some beautiful a handmade notions kit, which was custom lined, and some Merchant and Mills scissors, and the cutest little tea towels with cats on them. So I've definitely been spoiled. Also, my daughter gave me a gift card. So she works at a spa in Calgary, and I got a gift card, and I got to go get a beautiful facial and get very pampered. My friend Talia gave me a face serum. My friend Angela, who doesn't live in Canada, she's in New Zealand, gave me a gift card. Like, just spoiled, truly spoiled. And my other sister Rhonda treated us all to basically foot the bill for me to go out with Dave, my husband, my son Derek, and his new girlfriend, who is lovely, and we had only met her once before, and she knits and crochets. So big fan for that. That was really, really great. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of what it's been up. I did go to the Foothills Fiber Festival as well and helped my sister Wendy at her booth, and got to meet a couple of friends of the podcast, so that was really cool. And you know what, just all around I feel very blessed. I do find that flying in the summer can be a little tiring, and I'm in the midst of trying to shuffle things around on my schedule. I didn't get what I bid for June, and I think maybe I just got a little bit too specific, but I can move things around. At the end of the day, I keep saying that at the end of the day, it must be the end of the day. I'm getting a little tired, so I might just have to take it easy, maybe not push myself so hard to do all the things, because, you know, balance, right? That's basically what's going on. I will be flying a fair amount for June, and not sure what the rest of the summer will bring. We don't really have any set plans, and yeah, so my life's really not that exciting. It was a fairly quick knit and chat. I do need to wind down and get sorted. Maybe have a quick bite to eat before shower and turning out the lights, even though it's still not sunset yet. That's okay. 4:20 comes early. Yeah, if you stuck around to this very bitter end of the podcast, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate this podcast and the connections that has brought. This episode was a certain proof of that, like getting to meet Nancy and all the wonderful people. It has been just so heart-filling. So I will bid you all adieu, and please let me know if you want what you're knitting on, if you have plans this summer, if you will be coming to Calgary perhaps for the Knit City, Calgary. I do have that weekend off. I will probably be helping my friend Brittany at her Crux Fibers booth, likely on the Sunday, at some point during that last day of the festival. And yeah, so hopefully connecting with a bunch of people and all the fun, you know, knitty goodness, which I can never get enough of. And if you're here, that's probably your jam too. So thanks so much, everybody. Until I see you next time, I hope you are well, and we'll see you again. Bye.